Well, the Duchess was busy making a splash and dancing her way into 45.
Meghan Markle spent her 45th birthday dancing round a kitchen in Montecito, while a black labrador called Pula walked off with her party hat. Tom Bower spent the same year taking her apart in a national newspaper. And Samantha Markle has spent 8 straight years turning the 4th of August into something other than a birthday.
Markle versus Markle. Meghan Markle's half-sister Samantha suing the Duchess for apparently telling Oprah Winfrey that she grew up an only child.
3 people, 1 date, and a claim sitting in a federal court file that quietly settles an argument the internet has been having about Meghan since 2018. It is not the claim anyone expects. So what actually happened on August 4th, 2026? The kitchen and the countdown. The video is under a minute long and not obviously stage managed. Meghan dances across the kitchen floor in Montecito. Prince Harry holds the phone. Their children, Archie and Lilibet, are somewhere in the frame. So are the family's 2 dogs, the Labrador Pula and a beagle named Mia. And the dogs are why the clip traveled further than anything else the couple posted this year. Harry and Meghan try to fit party hats onto both animals and ask them to sit. Mia rolls over on hers. Pula picks hers up and walks off with it. Harry, off camera, can be heard saying, "Oh dear, a birthday, a kitchen, 2 badly behaved dogs." It was still being dissected in a dozen countries within 24 hours, and the reason has almost nothing to do with what is in the footage. The clip did not land into an empty year. It landed into a year already shaped by a book she did not write, by a man she has never met, and onto a date another woman has treated as an appointment since 2018. Stay with this, because the part of the story that actually resolves is not the book, it is the court file. Subscribing takes a second, and it genuinely helps. What the camera actually caught. The rest of the day surfaced sideways, through a friend, rather than through the couple themselves. Tracy Robbins posted a photo montage that included Meghan leaning in to blow out her candles and a second image of a game of mahjong already in progress, tiles laid out across the table. Robbins called Meghan her partner in crime and described doing life together 1 tile at a time. The cake in those photographs is tall and pink-flowered, studded with mahjong tiles, and finished with an illustration of a hummingbird, a motif the family has reached for before. What was absent was the thing royal watchers count first. No public birthday message from the royal family's official accounts. No line from Buckingham Palace, no photograph, no acknowledgement of any kind. Royal commentators have pointed out that the palace has not sent public birthday wishes to non-working royals since the Sussexes stepped back, and that applying an existing rule to Meghan in 2026 is not a snub designed for her. But the palace was never the party that had been waiting for the 4th of August. 2 other people were, and only one of them writes books. The man who writes the books nobody wants written. Tom Bower did not arrive with the Sussex story. He is a British investigative biographer with a long catalogue of subjects who declined to cooperate, and he describes his method bluntly. He looks for the people who feel wronged and starts there. His earlier books took on Robert Maxwell and, in 2018, the then Prince Charles. In 2022, he published Revenge, his first full-length treatment of Harry and Meghan. In March 2026, he published a second, Betrayal, Power, Deceit, and the Fight for the Future of the Royal Family, was serialized in the Times and the Sunday Times of London, the first extract appearing on March 13th. Serialization in a masthead that size changes the physics of a book. The claims were not waiting on a shelf for somebody to buy them. They were on newsstands by breakfast, aggregated within hours, and running in American outlets before the weekend. There is a detail from Bauer's own year that explains some of the heat around him. In February 2025, he was recognized in the crowd at the Invictus Games in Vancouver. Phones came out, the photographs were online within the hour, and a biographer who normally works at a distance from his subjects was suddenly standing inside the frame of the story he was writing. It cuts both ways. To his supporters, it showed a reporter doing the unglamorous work of turning up. To the Sussexes' side, it looked like the fixation they would name in a formal statement 13 months later. His critics make a fair point about the method. A biography assembled from people who fell out with its subject tends to produce a portrait shaped by grievance. His defenders answer that adversarial reporting has always worked this way. Both can be true at once. What is not in dispute is that betrayal reopened arguments the couple had considered settled, and the claims inside it have governed the entire year without being retracted. The claims that traveled furthest start with the image that stuck: a plane on a runway in September 2022, engines running, and Prince Harry not on board. Bauer's account of the 8th of September 2022, the day Queen Elizabeth died, is the most specific passage in the book. In his telling, the then Prince Charles contacted both his sons and directed them towards a flight to Scotland, but did not want Meghan to travel to Balmoral. Harry and Meghan discussed the plan at Frogmore Cottage. Charles objected when he learned Meghan intended to come, and attempted to show she was not being singled out by pointing out that Catherine would not be traveling either. The argument escalated. The delay ran on. William's plane left without his brother on it. Nobody in that account has confirmed it on the record. Around that sits a claim about Queen Camilla. Bauer wrote that Camilla had told a friend Meghan had brainwashed Harry. It is a second-hand claim, sourced in the book to an unnamed friend, and should be read as that rather than as a quotation from Camilla herself. Alongside it runs Bauer's reading of the Prince and Princess of Wales, who in his account evidently saw Meghan as a threat rather than an ally, as tensions rose before the Sussexes left Britain. That, too, is his reading of a relationship, rather than a documented exchange. Then the book turned towards the part of Harry's life he guards most closely. Bauer revisited the early finances of Centaball, the children's AIDS charity Harry co-founded, writing that in 2008 it emerged that only around £84,000 of the £1.15 million raised through events, including a concert held in memory of Diana, had been spent on helping orphans with AIDS, while the charity's first director had been paid £100,000 a year, with a 4-bedroom villa, staff, and private schooling for 3 children. He also went back over Harry's 2025 fallout with Centabali's chair, Sophie Chandauka, who accused him of misogyny and racism after he moved to remove her. Those were the passages that ran on the front pages. What came back was louder than anything Bauer had provoked before: deranged conspiracy and melodrama. The Sussexes did not let the serialization run unanswered. Within a day of the first extract, a spokesperson issued a statement to People and other outlets that was unusually long and unusually sharp. The central charge was that Bauer had stopped being a critic and become a fixation. The statement said his commentary had long crossed the line from criticism into fixation, and pointed to a remark he had made publicly that the monarchy, in fact, depends on obliterating the Sussexes from national life, arguing that the language spoke for itself. It said he had built a career out of constructing ever more elaborate theories about people he does not know and has never met, and it directed anyone interested in facts to look elsewhere. In a separate line reported by the Associated Press, The couple described the writing as deranged conspiracy and melodrama. It was the strongest public language the Sussexes have used about any author, and it produced an argument of its own. Communication specialists quoted afterward suggested the tone and length of the reply may have worked against the couple, on the familiar principle that a long rebuttal keeps a story alive longer than a short one. The counter view, which the couple's own team has effectively argued, is that silence in 2022 did not stop revenge, so silence in 2026 was never likely to stop betrayal. Bauer did not retreat. In interviews after the statement, he restated his central charge, that the couple had caused lasting damage to the institution and profited from it. The royal commentator Jenny Bond, watching from outside the exchange, offered the reading that has probably aged best. Of everything in the book, the passages touching Invictus and his wife were the ones certain to leave Harry incandescent, and he would defend her against them regardless of the cost. That was March. Then the calendar turned, week by week, towards the one date in the year that has never needed a book to generate a headline. The half-sister and the date. August 2018. Meghan is 37, married 3 months, and attending the wedding of one of Harry's oldest friends. In Florida, Samantha Markle sends a birthday message that is not really a birthday message. She wishes her half-sister a happy birthday, and then, in the same breath, tells her it would be lovely and appropriate to send their father a belated card for the July birthday he had just spent alone. She tags the palace account. A day earlier, she had shared an article about the couple stepping back from the spotlight and compared Meghan to Cruella de Vil. August 2019. Meghan is 38 and 3 months into motherhood. Samantha spends the birthday attacking the photographs from Archie's christening, telling the Daily Star that the whole thing looked staged and photoshopped, and accusing Meghan of trading an entire family to be royal. She lists the occasions their father missed: the holidays, the wedding, 2 heart attacks, the birth, the christening, and calls going into a church under those circumstances disrespectful. In the same period, she was also acting as the public channel for Thomas Markle. When reports circulated in 2018 that Meghan was flying to the United States to reconcile with him, Samantha told The Sun there was no meeting planned, called the story public relations spin, and said she spoke to their father every day. The timing is the point rather than an accident of it. These are not remarks scattered at random across a year. They cluster on dates that already carry attention, and the 4th of August is the most reliable of them. In 2024, her lawyers filed their appeal brief in the defamation case on August 2nd, 2 days before Meghan's 43rd birthday. Whether that was calculation or coincidence, the effect has been the same for 8 consecutive years. The 4th of August arrives with a second story already attached to it. What changed is where the argument is now being made. It moved out of the tabloids and into a federal courthouse, where claims have to be pleaded rather than posted. And that is where the most quotable number in this entire story is sitting. 17 years on the record. Samantha Markle sued Meghan for defamation in Tampa, Florida, in March 2022. The complaint centered on Meghan's March 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey, in which she said she had grown up as an only child, and on statements made in the 2022 Netflix series Harry and Meghan. Samantha's position was that the two of them had been close in childhood. Damages sought, $75,000. U.S. District Judge Charlene Edwards Honeywell dismissed the case. She found the statements neither explicitly nor impliedly defamatory, and characterized Meghan's remarks as opinion that could not be proved false. The The dismissal was with prejudice, meaning those claims cannot simply be refiled. Samantha appealed to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Her lawyers argued the judge had examined the disputed statements in isolation, ignoring the context and ordering around them, and that the effect was to paint Samantha as a lying racist fame-seeker. Oral argument was heard on September 9, 2025 in Jacksonville, and the reporting from the room was not encouraging for her side. Chief Judge William Pryor sounded unpersuaded. Samantha's attorney, Peter Tickton, conceded on the record that the case had chased too many aspects at once and had, in his phrase, played into the other side's hands. Meghan's lawyer, Michael Kump, told the panel his client was being sued on a convoluted theory of vicarious liability. The panel has not ruled. In fairness to Samantha, an appellate bench sounding skeptical is not the same as a decision, and her underlying complaint, that being publicly described in a way she disputes carries consequences she cannot walk away from, is not absurd on its face. But there is a detail in her own paperwork that almost nobody quotes. Samantha's filing described the two sisters as close during childhood, despite their 17-year age difference. 17 years. Samantha was born in 1964. Meghan was born on August 4, 1981. Those lawyers put that gap in a federal pleading under her name as the foundation of the case. A federal pleading is not a tweet. It is drafted by attorneys, filed under signature, and it exposes its author to consequences if it is knowingly false. That number matters far, more than it looks, because of what circulates around this birthday every single year. The rumor that keeps coming back. Every 4th of August, a claim resurfaces that Meghan has understated her age by 5 or 6 years. It arrives attached to a magazine page, an old profile listing, or a screenshot of a database entry that has since been edited. It does not survive contact with the record. Her date of birth, August 4, 1981, appears in contemporaneous documentation, in her marriage records, and in the reporting of outlets with every commercial incentive to catch her in a falsehood and no history of managing it. Databases like IMDb are user-editable, which makes an altered field evidence of an edit rather than a cover-up. Magazine listings from the 90s carry typographical errors as a matter of routine. And then there is the 17. If Meghan were 6 years older than she says, the gap between the sisters would be 11 years, not 17. Samantha, the person on Earth with the strongest motive to expose an inflated timeline, represented by lawyers filing in a federal court where inaccuracy carries a cost, stated 17. Her published book uses 1981 as well. Bauer is the second test, and the more revealing one. He is an investigator who has spent years and 2 books hunting for what the Sussexes would rather nobody found, and who is demonstrably willing to publish material they call conspiracy. He wrote about Camilla. He wrote about Balmoral. He went through Sentibal's early accounts line by line. He did not write that Meghan had falsified her age, and the omission is not an oversight. One footnote is worth keeping straight. The biographer Andrew Loney reported in his 2025 book, entitled, that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor had privately told Harry that Meghan was too old for him, a remark about her age relative to Harry, who was born in 1984, not a claim about her birth year, though it has been recycled as one. Strip the rumor out, and the year does not empty. What is left is stranger, better documented, and considerably harder for anyone to answer. What the 45th birthday actually showed. Put the year in order, and a shape appears. In March 2026, a serialized biography put the most personal accusations yet onto the front of a national newspaper, And the Sussexes answered with the harshest statement they have ever issued about a single writer, and none of it has been withdrawn since. In September 2025, the last realistic legal route for Samantha Markle's defamation claim ran into an appellate bench that did not sound convinced. And in August 2026, on the day those two threads have historically converged, Meghan Markle posted a video of two dogs refusing to wear party hats. That is really not nothing. For 8 years, the 4th of August has been a scheduled news event she did not schedule, and the standard response was either an official photograph or silence. This year, the response was a phone clip, a friend's montage, a mahjong cake, and a hummingbird. There is a plausible reading of that as strategy. There is an equally plausible reading of it as a woman who has finally stopped treating her own birthday as a press problem to be managed. It also changes what the missing palace message means. If Meghan is no longer treating the day as a fixture in the royal calendar, the absence of an official greeting stops being a wound and becomes a formality nobody involved is waiting on. Bauer's answer would be that the retreat into domestic content is itself the evidence that the commercial engine has slowed and the kitchen is what remains. His critics would say a woman posting her children and her dogs is doing the one thing he insists she cannot do, which is stop performing. Neither of them has produced anything the other is obliged to accept. Which leaves the 4th of August, 2026, as the only piece of this story with no interpretation problem. A book was serialized in March and stands unretracted. A statement was issued in March. A case was argued in September and has not been won. And Meghan Markle turned 45 in her own kitchen, where the loudest thing that happened all day was a labrador walking off with a party hat. If this was useful, a subscribe helps more than you would think. Then tell me in the comments, after the book, the statement, and the court file, does the birthday video read to you as strategy or as somebody who has simply stopped playing? The videos on screen go further into both.